She Walks in Beauty by Lord Byron. In this video, we shall do line-wise explanation of the poem. Lines 1 to 4. She walks in beauty like the night of cloudless climes and starry skies, and all that's best of dark and bright meet in her aspect and her eyes. Right from the start, Byron sets the tone of the poem with a comparison that seems almost divine. Beauty, like the vast starry night, her beauty does not seem purely physical either. Instead, it is almost an aura, a shield of beauty, unaware and almost innocent in its unawareness. It is interesting to note that the poet compares the woman to night rather than daylight. It is interesting to note, and in fact, day is considered gaudy on behalf of the poet because the tradition for romantic poetry was to compare one to nature, but to bright nature. The darkness of the word night seems to be a reference to the Greek ideal beauty that is so strong that it could be almost catastrophic. The poet is emphasizing that the unique feature of this woman is her ability to contain opposites within her. The best of dark and bright meet in her. They meet in her and perhaps nowhere else besides a starry night. It's also important to note that the joining together can be seen in her aspect or appearance, but also in her eyes. A reader might think of the eyes simply as a feature of beauty, but the eyes also have been associated in literature with the soul or the internal aspect of the person. The eyes reveal the heart. Lines 5 and 6. Thus mellowed to that tender light which heaven to gaudy day denies. This woman joins together what is normally kept separate. But there is no violent yoking going on here. Instead, the opposites melt together to form a mellowed or softened whole. By joining together the two opposite forces, she creates a tender light, not the gaudiness of daytime, but a gentler light that even heaven does not bestow on the day. Neither night nor day seem pleasing to the speaker. Only the meeting of those two extremes in this woman pleases him. She is composite, neither wholly held by rationality nor by irrationality. Lines 7 to 10. One shade the more, one ray the less, had half impaired the nameless grace which waves in every raven tress or softly lightens over her face. Once again, the opposites are combined here. Shade or darkness is combined with day or light, and raven tress or dark hair is linked with the lightened face. The speaker suggests that if the woman contained within her and in her appearance either a little bit more of darkness or a little bit more of light, she would be half impaired. A reader might expect the speaker to say she would be totally ruined or impaired. But if things were not just in the right proportion, she would be half impaired, but still half magnificent. A key word in this section is grace. Although the poet is seemingly talking about appearances, in actuality, he is referring to the nameless grace that is in her hair and her face. Once again, it is something internal as well as external that is so attractive about this woman. Lines 11 and 12. Which waves in every raven tress or softly lightens over her face. Although this poem begins with the image of a woman walking, the reader should notice by now that no image are given of her legs or arms or feet. This is a head poem, confined to hair and eyes and face and cheeks and brows. The conclusion to the second stanza emphasizes this. The reader is given an insight into the dwelling place of the woman's thoughts, an insight into her mind. The repetition of the s sound is soothing in the phrase, serenely sweet express. Because the poet is referring to her thoughts, and her thoughts are nothing but serene, readers may infer how pure her mind is. And on that cheek and over that brow, so soft, so calm, yet eloquent, the smiles that win, the tints that glow, but tell of days in goodness spent, a mind at peace with all below, a heart whose love is innocent. Byron concludes the poem with three lines of physical description that lead to the final three lines of moral characterization. The soft cheeks, the winning smile, the tints in the skin eloquently express not only physical beauty, but they attest to her morality. The physical beauty, the speaker concludes, reflects days spent doing good, a mind at peace, and a heart whose love is innocent. Whether Byron would have preferred a less innocent cousin, someone with whom he would enjoy Byronic passions, is left unspoken for the reader to decipher. The imagery used in the poem of light and darkness. Byron presents an ethereal portrait of the young woman in the first two stanzas by contrasting white with black and light with shadow in the same way that nature presents a portrait of the firmament and the landscape below on a cloudless, starlit evening. He tells the reader in line 3 that she combines the best of dark and bright. Bright here serving as a noun rather than an adjective, and notes that darkness and light temper each other when they meet in her raven hair. Byron's words thus turn opposites into compeers working together to celebrate beauty. The literary devices used in the poem in lines first and second. Simile is used comparing the movement of the beautiful woman to the movement of the skies. In line 6, metonymy, in which heaven is substituted for God or for the upper atmosphere. Lines 8 to 10. Metaphor is used comparing grace, a quality, to a perceivable phenomena. In lines 11 and 12, metaphor and personification comparing thoughts to people, metaphor and personification comparing the mind to a home, a dwelling place. In lines 13 and 16, metaphor and personification comparing the woman's cheek and brow to person who tell of days in goodness spent. The rhyme scheme and meter. The rhyme scheme of the first stanza is AB, AB, AB. The second stanza CD, CD, CD. And the third stanza EF, EF, EF. All the end rhymes are masculine. The meter is predominantly iambic tetrameter, a pattern in which a line has four pairs of unstressed and stressed syllables, eight syllables in all. The first two lines demonstrate the pattern followed throughout the poem except for line 6, which has nine syllables. The figures of speech. As we have already discussed, the poet uses personifications such as smiles that win and heart whose love is innocent to vividly describe the woman's soft smiles and pure heart. Use of simile and metaphor in parts like the night, nameless grace which waves in every raven tress. The poet compares grace, the quality of the woman, to an observable phenomena, raven tress, and makes the picture more clear. He also uses metonymies like smiles to represent the woman and heaven to represent God. This is the end of the poem.